My most highly requested review is here. That's right, we're talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. Now, before I get into my review, I just want to let you know where I'm coming from when I talk about Star Wars. I am not what you would call a diehard Star Wars fan. I am not what you would call a person who's obsessed with the canon of the Star Wars storyline. If you are, I'm sure you're quite confused because everybody is with the canon of Star Wars. There's things that I love about Star Wars. There's things that I hate about Star Wars. So I'm coming to you as objectively as humanly possible. I watched the show. I'm judging the show on, was it a well-written storyline in the Star Wars universe? Was it not? Was it well executed? Was it not? Was there great acting? Was there not? That's all I'm coming to you to talk about. So if you're looking for someone to hate on it, I'm not your guy. If you're looking for someone to love and praise on it, which I know some of my friends are waiting for me to do so, I'm not your guy. If you want an objective opinion on the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, stay right here. Spoilers ahead. So I really loved the tone of the show, the way it started out. We got a lost, that's the best word I can think of right now, a lost Obi-Wan Kenobi. Lost on the inside just as much as he is on the out. You got a dead on the inside Obi-Wan Kenobi who wakes up, goes to the same job, does the same thing, gets the same amount of food, gets the same amount of money, feeds the same animal, goes to sleep at the same time every single day. Those kinds of people in the world are dead on the inside, and they did a great job portraying how dead on the inside Obi-Wan Kenobi is. You see, we're picking up kind of shortly after Revenge of the Sith, where he's just lost his brother in Anakin, right? He's lost the Force. He's lost the connection to the Force. He's lost his Jedi Master in Qui-Gon. He doesn't know what to do now. He's lost everything that's ever mattered to him. He's hiding from the Empire because the Empire's hunting Jedi. So he literally is just buried in a little cave doing his 9-to-5 job and trying to just live out the rest of his life and hopefully die as sooner, it seems like, rather than later. And that was the perfect tone for this show. You see, in a show that's about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader and the relationship and how it gets rekindled and how they meet back up after the giant battle that they last had when it was Anakin versus Obi-Wan, you need that tone. And my problem with Star Wars is they never continue that tone. You see, not even 2 episodes later and an episode later, you get the most goofy chase scene when Leia's getting ready to get captured. I'm sorry, but if a twig's in my way, that's not stopping me if I'm trying to kidnap a kid. Stuff like that is what bothers me about this show. It's tonally inconsistent. You have the dark, gritty, dramatic tone that should have stayed the entire show because this is not supposed to be your, hey, Jar Jar Binks. Like, this isn't supposed to be your goofy Star Wars. Like, the tone is set from the episode number 1. Then it's destroyed in episode number 2. Then they bring it back in episode number 5. And for me, that just doesn't play well when it's in this storyline. I mean, guys, when he's walking out in an oversized trench coat with Leia underneath, come on. Star Wars has always been goofy, but unintentionally goofy. Jar Jar Binks was not written as a joke. He was not written to be a meme. He just so happened to be afterwards. Everything, insert another goofy thing. I mean, what's the little furry bear-looking things? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Those were not supposed to be a meme. Those were not supposed to be goofy. They just turned out to be when people watched the films. This show does the complete opposite of what it should do. It bounces back and forth between goofy, intentionally goofy. They want it to be funny and goofy because we get to appeal to the 12-year-olds. And then they're like, oh, but let's go back to the depressing sadness that appeals to the 29-year-olds and the 30-year-olds. That just doesn't work in the context of this storyline. Right, now let's talk about a character that's probably the most hated character in all of the Star Wars universe right now. And that's Reva. Now I know what you're saying. Jacob, don't do it. You're going to get canceled. You can't talk objectively about characters that are poorly written. Well, I'm here to say that you can. You can say that a character's poorly written. You can say that a character is OP because for some reason she becomes the most powerful freaking person in the entire empire and becomes Darth Vader's right-hand woman. Why? Oh, just because. Oh, for some reason, she's going to be given a bulk of the storyline and a bulk of the dialogue, and she's going to be responsible for moving a lot of the stories from point A to point B. Why? Just because. That's my problem with Star Wars. They have a poorly written character that takes way too much focus off of the main characters, and they give her the bulk of the storyline to move the story along. Reva's a badly written character. She's not likable. Even the episodes that they gave her a backstory, that should have been, if you're going to make her such a big part of this, that she should have had her own episode. Give her all of episode 2 so you can understand her character, and then people might be able to sympathize with her. But you give us just little tidbits at the end and they go, now you're supposed to care about her. No! Reva's a badly written character. You see, Star Wars does this all the time. Go to the Solo film. The stupid robot ruined 90% of that movie. Jar Jar Binks in the prequels ruined a lot of those movies. You see, it's the intentionality of the studios to insert a character that they want to make important that makes that character not likable by anybody else. You see, there's no, especially with and let's just keep it in the context of the show, especially with Reva. Why is she all of a sudden one of the most powerful people in the galaxy just because? Why is she all of a sudden Darth Vader's right-hand woman? Why does Darth Vader show her mercy but shows nobody else mercy? Darth Vader's willing to choke out a 12-year-old kid, but he's not willing to choke out Reva? That's my problem with shows like this. That's my problem with what Star Wars has done, and they have done it for the last 10 years. If this is a Kenobi and Darth Vader show, let's keep it about those two and just cut out the middleman because she was not needed. Now, I do love the relationship between Leia and Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's probably the most, besides, of course, Anakin and Obi-Wan rekindling that relationship and getting to see them face to face again. That was probably my favorite part. I thought young Leia was really good. She was sassy. She had all of the characteristics of a grown-up Leia, and I love the fact that the scenes that she kind of stole. Like, if we're being honest, I was really impressed with the actress, and I wrote down her name, but I forgot to bring it up. But I was really impressed with her. I thought she played really well, and it showed us the humanity side of Ewan McGregor. And I love the fact that Luke and Leia mean so much to him. And I was talking to a buddy about this last night because my first thought is, why does he care so much about Luke and Leia? It makes no sense. You know, if their dad became the worst, most evil man in the universe, why would he care about the kids? Why shouldn't he want to be trying to, not to be mean here, why wouldn't you want to go kill the kids? Because you're worried that they're going to turn out like Pops and be evil. And my buddy said, and he said, no, they're the only piece of humanity that Kenobi has left. They're the only connection that Kenobi has left to Anakin, and he wants to do right by them because he didn't do right by Anakin. And that should have been explored a little bit more because they show up and all of a sudden he has the greatest relationship with Leia and he loves Luke and wants to hang out with Luke and mentor Luke. And it's like, if they would have tied that in a little bit more with a little bit better writing and more dialogue and slow down the story, at least for an episode or a half an episode, and really we got to understand why he cared so much about Luke and Leia, I think those scenes would have been a little bit more powerful. But that being said, I love the fact that the humanity side and the children of Luke and Leia are really what are the only things that's keeping Kenobi from himself. Like, if we're being honest, those are the only two things that Kenobi cares about in his life. And seeing the little adventure with Kenobi and Leia was a really great way to not only bring those characters face to face, but is a really great way to bring the humanity of Ewan McGregor out in an organic way. Like, this would be a reason as to why Ewan McGregor wields the lightsaber once again and gets the persona and gets the force and everything back. So I really love that part of the story. Then, of course, we get to Darth Vader. And I love the fact that it picks up right where we left off, where we literally saw Darth Vader becoming Darth Vader, and then we get to see Darth Vader's kind of rise to power. And like I said, you X out a lot of the Inquisitors, and you X out a lot of Reva, and you X out a lot of that gunk in the middle. If we really got to focus on Kenobi and Darth Vader, this would have been a much better story. Because there was a lot of times where I'm just like, let's just go focus and slow down with Darth Vader for a little bit. Let's see Darth Vader now. Let's see him slowly rising to power because he's not at his full apex powers right now. Like, let's see him grow into becoming Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Like, I really wish we would have seen a little bit more of that, and I get it. A lot of people are like, Season 2's coming, Season 2's coming. It shouldn't be done in a season 2. You should have had a kick-ass seven episodes focusing on nothing but Kenobi and Darth Vader, and I think everybody would have been a lot happier, but we live in America. We live in a world of excess. Everybody's got to have more. You can't have one great season. You got to have 12 bad seasons and one okay season. And that's what Star Wars, of course, is going to do, and that's, of course, what Disney is going to allow happen, which is you give us 3 or 4 bad episodes, 3 great episodes, and, yeah, that's probably the most frustrating part of it all. But I love the fact that Darth Vader is menacing once again. He lost a lot of that in a lot of the previous shows, and even in some of his smaller appearances. Like, we didn't get just powerful, scary Darth Vader, and he finally came back. When he grabbed the ship, and with, like, just basically no energy, she's like, yo, yeah, that's a full-ass ship right there. I'm just gonna hold it. Like, that was insane. He's just ripping this ship apart. Like, he walks into a village and just kills a family. Just kills a family right there. Just, you're dead. Holy frick! And he did it so he could draw Obi-Wan Kenobi out. But, like, yo, we finally got a savage in Darth Vader once again. And Hayden Christensen did a great job. I love the fact that he put on the cowl once more and donned the role of Darth Vader. And like I said, I really would have loved to have seen a more broken down story of just Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. But the moments were great of them separately. And then, of course, let's bring them together to kind of round out this entire review and then give us some more bullet points to finish off. I mean, come on. That's probably the best lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars, right up there with the Darth Maul lightsaber fight. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't overdramatic. They weren't flipping and flying and throwing mountains at each other. It was as simple, yet more best choreographed lightsaber duel that we might have gotten in the entire canon of Star Wars. Like, these are the simple duels that I love. Where they're throwing rocks, but they're not throwing mountains. They're fighting and trying to bury each other under rubble, but there's a lot of times where it's lightsaber hitting lightsaber. In a lot of the recent movies, lightsabers ain't hitting each other. Especially in the new trilogy. Don't get me started on what I think of the new trilogy. We went an entire, and I mean an entire film, without one lightsaber hitting another lightsaber. Like, it became, we just gotta eat the Force. We're gonna use everything's the Force. You're just gonna choke you, mind trick this, fly that. Here comes a mountain. Here comes a spaceship. That's all they did. Everything's just use the Force, use the Force, use the Force. Yo, we got back to the simples of Star Wars. That's what it's about. That's what people love. People don't love Star Wars for the characters and the storyline. They love it because of those things right there. Lightsabers. Lightsabers, it's like the gun that the Ghostbusters use, the ectoplasm, whatever the frick it's called. Like, that's what made Ghostbusters cool. A unique weapon that nobody has seen used in a unique way. And light up swords is what made everybody go crazy back in the 70s, and it's what makes people go crazy today. Go look at every man-child in Disney right now. They're making a lightsaber, okay? And I love the fact that at the very end, we didn't get this giant, dramatic... We just got a simple battle in the rubbles of the rocks. Just lightsabers hitting lightsabers for so long. And, of course, you get that beautiful scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi's getting ready to end Anakin, chops off, half of the helmet. And then you get that dramatic line of, you didn't kill Anakin. I did. Oh, snap! Darth Vader's for real, which is what you needed. You needed to see Darth Vader rise to that heartless psychopath that rules the Empire. And that's what you got at the very end of this duel. And you got to see Ewan McGregor finally, understand that it's not all his fault. The one thing that I hated about that scene is when he's buried under the rocks, he starts flashing back to Leia. That would have been a perfect time for Qui-Gon's voice or Force Ghost to just show up and be like, Obi-Wan, I'm with you. And then he's like, Qui-Gon, throws the rocks off, boom, back into battle, as opposed to this really creepy montage of, like, Leia, running through, the woods and stuff. It was super creepy, and that would have been a perfect time for Qui-Gon to show up, but it's Star Wars. They don't do things well a lot of the times. But overall, man, I thought, I thought that it was good. My problem has always been with Star Wars is they have nowhere to go. You see, the problem with this show is we know the ending of the storyline. We're not getting anything added to the Star Wars universe. We're just getting to see the in-betweens. which is great. But I'm begging Star Wars, start making stuff that's going to further the future, not stuff that fills in the past. That's all I'm asking. As an objective Star Wars fan, I don't want to continue to see a bunch of filler shows. But overall, I thought it was a good show. My problem has always been in the writing in a lot of these Star Wars shows. You see why The Mandalorian was so successful? It's well written. It's written by people that know what the hell they're doing before they go into a project. And it felt like, especially in the Kenobi series, it felt like they had 3 great episodes. Episode 1, 5, and 6, or 4 and 5, whichever the last 2 were and the first one was. It felt like they had 3 great episodes, and then they're like, oh, we need to fill it in. And then they just start dumping crap. Oh, well, people like the Inquisitors from the TV show, so let's just dump the Inquisitors in there. Well, people like starships, so let's throw a starship in there. Like, that's my problem with Star Wars, man. Star Wars needs to hire people that know how to write a creative story from start to finish. Not 3 good episodes, but an entire story. And I know that's objective. I know, trust me, I heard my buddies argue this a lot last night. But those are just the things that were some of my qualms. There was a lot of filler that didn't make sense. There was a lot of filler that was unnecessary. They didn't need to make this a 2-season show. They're going to. It should have been just a well-crafted 7-episode storyline that focused on nothing but Kenobi and Darth Vader. And you could sprinkle in Luke and Leia. Exit out the Inquisitors. Exit out Reva. They're absolutely unnecessary to the storyline. But overall, I would say it was a good show. I gave it a 6.8. Hey, that's not bad, especially when I'm talking about Star Wars. So overall, 6.8 out of 10. Honestly, to wrap up, they really should have axed this entire project and just done a live-action Clone Wars. And because who doesn't want to see a live-action Clone Wars? That would be absolutely incredible. So Star Wars, if we could stop doing projects like this, get a live-action Clone Wars, I think I would become a diehard Star Wars fan. 6.8, there's my review.